another one in about 30 minutes to an hour. That's a different level of problem, but also out there. Have you had your vaccinations? How many of you in this audience that are over 60 have had your vaccination for shingles? It's the variation on, what they're doing for chickenpox with kids. Almost nobody. How many of you have ever had shingles? Does it hurt? There are people that it's a chronic pain syndrome for life. You cannot fix it many times, particularly if it's around the head and neck. It will change whatever many years are left of your life. So go get that vaccine. Don't neglect to get the flu vaccine. Those things are important. The mammograms, the colonoscopies. Now, there's a fun way to spend a Tuesday. But again, if you're 60 and you haven't had one baseline, which you should have had at 50, the prep for it is lousy. It's miserable. But actually doing it, you wake up from your versed and you don't care and didn't know. So, if your dignity's completely gone, there's just a couple other people that know it and you never will. So, those are important things to get done. I'd ask you something simple like, do you need your own bed? Now, I was going to talk about that even before Melissa talked about your spouse choking you with sleep apnea and disturbances. But many of us could spend some snuggle time in bed evening or morning and do better to go sleep in the other room, particularly if the person with Parkinson's disease is rowdy and rambunctious in the way they sleep. He's beginning to hint that I'm past lunchtime. But to consider that, it's not heresy, it's not anti-biblical. Some really loving couples do sleep in separate beds. So I'd urge you to stay flexible. Think about who's on your B team. When you're going to develop a backup, what skills, who will do it, who can do it, who will your care recipient put up with doing it? And if you're the care recipient, start thinking about that, because that 24/7 is really not a plan. Ask for specific dates and time. When I left town, I asked my daughter, would she take Granddad some ice cream on Thursdays, because that's the only thing he cares about anymore is Bonanza reruns and vanilla ice cream. He loves turning it off and checking out. So, but he's a very responsible CPA kind of guy, and he agreed to leave his cell phone on. So these are small things, not huge impositions on my backup, but still important for my peace of mind and for knowing that other people are looking in and checking by. And then again, if you're the care recipient, to get up every morning saying, what one thing could I do for him or her today that would make things easier? Helping prevent burnout is crucial. I love this cartoon. My boss before gave it to me saying, burnout, you just started this morning. I would advocate that if you are the primary family caregiver living under the same roof, you need to figure out a way to carve out time for yourself, an hour a day, an entire day per week, or the vast bulk of the day. I'm not talking about 24 hours, and one long weekend per month. And you have to define what a way, and I hear some of you saying, yeah, right. But some version of that is doable in your situation and can really help maintain your sanity and physical health. One of the ways I define a way is to turn off my cell phone some, and that has been difficult. I think I've been hanging around with those text messaging young people just a little too long, and it's rubbed off on me to do that. To hone your communication skills. Most of us in couples, one person is male, one person is female. We were never meant to actually talk to each other, best I can tell. But sometimes you just have to, and so you have to practice how that works best for you. And I would urge you to change just one thing. I'll give you an example. When my stress level was just out the wazoo a few months ago after Keith was diagnosed, a girl trying to help me said, now let's see, you're completely maxed out. You'd prefer not to take antidepressant medications, but your hobbies are leading the grief group at your church and working as a volunteer for hospice. She said, boy, that's a way to cheer yourself up, So I dropped the grief group and began singing in the choir. A ton of difference. Nobody leaves choir rehearsals unhappy or depressed on Wednesday night. It's kind of a chore to get yourself there, but that's always better. So that was my one thing. And last, to practice the fine art of thinking funny in order to maximize who you are and what you can do with caregiving. If you don't have a good recognition of things that are humorous around you, how many of you think you have a good sense of humor? Not that you're funny, but that you see it, you know it when you see it. Great. For those of you whose hands aren't up, I have a closing exercise. When you get home today, Please be alone when you do this so you won't frighten a lot of people unnecessarily. Take off every stitch of your clothing except your watch, everything, and stand in front of a full-length mirror for 5 minutes by the clock. And now, if you don't see anything funny, I want you to call Kathleen or the other people in the office and see if they can find a remedial humor recognition course for you because you need help. Thank you very much.